a message to the saints. The table has been set, so take your place. There is no condemnation, there is only grace.
World Radio, Gospel Radio, our way to heaven. World Radio, Gospel Radio, our way to heaven. One king and one kingdom making people feel like family.
World Radio is growing with a new program, Interview with the Authors. Local authors, regional authors, international authors, new authors, and well-seasoned authors too. Join us every Thursday evening from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. AST. We're interviewing authors, and who knows, next time we'll be interviewing you. Interview with the Authors, every Thursday evening, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on growthradiopt.com.
Growth Radio.
And top of the evening to you, wherever you're listening to us from. Welcome to Growth Radio's Interview with the Authors. And if you were able to see that beautiful intro, you know what kind of author we're interviewing this evening. I want to say welcome everyone to Growth Radio, wherever you're listening to us from, if it's from Trinidad and Tobago, America, South America, Africa, Cameroon, Belgium, we welcome you. We are very glad to have you. And all of those listening on TuneIn Radio, Radio Garden, listen to my radio, radio.net, My Radio Hut on YouTube Live or Facebook Live. We welcome you. We're happy to have you as always. I am your host, Charisse Janine Broome, and we will be interviewing a very exciting author this evening, someone who is self-proclaimed serial entrepreneur. I love that. And she is a daughter of the soil. You know how I love to represent my Trinidad and Tobago. You know how I love to get my Trinis inside here, the grill, right? So I just want to welcome this author. You're going to meet her in a little bit. She's going to tell you a little bit about herself. All right. And I just wanted to really remind us in Trinidad and Tobago how much raw and resident talent that Trinidad and Tobago has. You know, I think sometimes we forget how rich we are in resources, not only beauty that you see right around me, but also in human resources. And a lot of that richness, a lot of that wealth that Trinidad and Tobago has is in our children, right? And I think I really am one of those persons who really, I agree that it is very important to set up our generations for success. And this author also thinks the same way. She thinks it's important to really to go to the generations that come after us, our children, our grandchildren, and give them the tools and resources they need to succeed, to build wealth. And so with that, I really want to welcome a serial entrepreneur, serial author, I have to say as well, best-selling author, Dr. Lakisha Maharaj. Welcome, Dr. Maharaj.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the opportunity.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And, you know, it's very wonderful to see when our they excel in whatever it is they do. I mean, God has given all of us talents, right? Even especially our children and our grandchildren. And we have to know what to do with those things. And from your bio, I mean, if I were to read it, I mean, we wouldn't have any more time to talk about anything else, but I want to hear from your mouth, you know. So you came from this beautiful, look at this beautiful island, this beautiful country, and you left us, Dr. Nikki. Why you leave us?
That's interesting. You know, usually when you're younger, sometimes you make some kind of decisions, sometimes that you don't even know what direction you're going at times, when you're young, that is. But we always hear about the land of opportunities. We always hear young people, there's so much things for young people. So, you know, inquisitive me, independence me,
Yeah.
left Trinidad, there were some situations that arose in Trinidad and Tobago prior to me coming over here, but there was a job opportunity waiting for me in Connecticut. So I came to Connecticut first, stayed there approximately about 3 months. But some of us, we like to stay and get comfortable in one, in that comfort zone. And then there's people like me who like to come out of my comfort zone, take risks. And because I felt like there was something greater, there was something more that God had for me. So
Yes.
I started looking around for jobs in different states, but I had some friends in the state of Maryland already. That is where I currently reside. That's where I decided to settle. It's been this year, April is going to make it 15 years that I've been here.
Wow.
Praise the Lord. If it was an easy road, not at all. It was a journey. So, but it's how you make it.
Yes.
It's how you look at life. It's how you do things. So that's my little, how I got here.
All right. Well, congratulations on making it that fast so far. And there's much more. There's much more to come. There's further for you to go. And I want to also include that Dr. Nikki, as I also felt academically, Dr. Nikki, she has that doctorate is in Christian theology, right? And you also said in your bio, Dr. Nikki, that before you left, I don't know if I'm getting it straight, before you left Trinidad and Tobago, you were a minister?
So I got saved in Trinidad, but I was not a minister as yet. So I was a
Okay.
minister here.
Okay, so this is not Minister of Finance. This is a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So those of you who are listening and who do not know the lingo, the Christian lingo, being saved simply means that you have given your life, your heart to Jesus Christ, the risen Savior, right? So that's what we mean when we say we're saved. We're saved from the curse of sin, because of our transgressions. And Jesus Christ is the only one who can do that. So that is wonderful news. So after you left Trinidad and Tobago, you went into ministry.
So I
tell us
went into Bible school. There's most people who are genuinely
right
in Christ, in ministry, always tend to hide in the background. They never want the front line. They never want to be seen. Those who have a genuine calling upon their life never wants to be out front. But no matter where you go, you cannot run. That day is going to come where he is going to pull you to the forefront, where you have to do what you have to do. All right?
I'm feeling like Dr. Nikki trying to tell me something, feel like she's trying to talk to me, Dr. Nikki, we ain't preaching today, yeah? I'm feeling like you're aiming at somebody on the next side here. Right. Thank you, Dr. Nikki. You are right. That is very true. It is God. You see, God can operate, in the earth is through us. I mean, His Holy Spirit lives in us. We are His hands and His feet and His heart to reach out to people. And so it's a privilege. It's a privilege and an honor to be used by our great God. I mean, He's awesome. He's awesome. So it is a privilege. And another excellent thing about Dr. Nikki is that she is the CEO of her own international company. And that company is called Royalty African Fabrics and Accessories and RAB African Dolls. But even with all of these successes, the academics, the ministry, the companies, her greatest accomplishment, pride and joy of them all is her beautiful children. She has two beautiful children. That's her best accomplishment to date. And I would have to agree. She is passionate about what she does. She's passionate about her children, and her children are a blessing from Jesus. And we want to bless God for them as well. And Dr. Nikki is also a passionate philanthropist. And she loves being a blessing to others. She loves being a blessing to society. And we are blessed to have her here on Growth Radio with us this evening. All right, Dr. Nikki. So you said, you were in a different mindset when you chose to leave Trinidad and Tobago. And so how was that to begin with? Was it a culture shock? How was it for you when you leave this beautiful island and you go in the people and them place any cool? What was it like? Were you scared? I mean,
With everything, you would have taken risks is scary at times. But with everything,
yes.
I think there's a peace that comes over you when you know that you're supposed to do something. Now, that particular place that you end up may not be, or you went to, may not be the exact place that, you're supposed to settle, things like that. But eventually, you'll be able to go from places to places and then find where you belong. But it wasn't an easy road. Sometimes even you would reach out to family members over here. And when you're in Trinidad, it's a different story. Come, come, come. But when you actually reach here and you start to work and you start to move up the ladder, I should say, it's a different,
Yeah.
the way they, embrace you.
That's
Yeah, things change.
okay. Things change, yes. That is fallen human nature, and we love them. We love them still. We love them with the love of Jesus still. So, Dr. Nikki, you have 4 books that you authored. Scrappy was in love with an owl. That's the first one,
Yes. Well,
right? So
actually, the first,
that one became
the first one was Called to Purpose, the one we'll be dealing with today. Scrappy was the second.
the first one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I have it up. Okay. So that was the second one. The first one was Call to Purpose. Then you have Thank You, God, for Another Day. And then the fourth one is Thank You, God.
No, the fourth one is Corona. Corona here, Corona there. Corona, you better leave
Oh,
this.
that's the one with your son.
Yes.
Right. Right. Oh, glory to God. So that is awesome. So tell us a little bit. So you seem to also have a heart for teaching children financial literacy. Where did that come from? Why is that? What tell us a story about that.
Growing up in Trinidad, you will see people living in what we call shack homes.
Mhm.
People have outdoor bathrooms. People may tend to have needs, but for some reason, parents, there are so many single parents, there are different, different culture involved where poverty is real. And the things that they're taught in school growing up, we don't really get this knowledge as to how to save, how to invest, how to become a young entrepreneur. We are told, okay, go to school, get your education, get a 9 to 5 job, and go work for somebody. But
Right.
we wanted, yeah, I felt the need to change things a bit. I want to be able to see young children being able to do what they want to do, being able to express their own self, be confident in what they like to do, what they're passionate about, be confident in knowing that, okay, I do not only have to go to school and get an education and go and work for somebody, but I can go to school, get that education, get my skill up to mark, and then go out and own my own business and employ workers, create jobs for people. We can be on that other side. Children, young children can have that desire and that will to do that. So that was one of my main reasons for, going into literacy, financial literacy for children.
All right, that's awesome. And so the first book that you wrote, Called to Purpose, you speak a lot. You speak, well, that's the entire theme of that book, Call to Purpose, right? And this is for what age group did you write this book for?
So it starts from 6 because we teach, there's groups that I, sometimes mentor, and there are kids that 6 that will be able to make, do things like a soap business, like, will be able to create little hair bows and different things. So there are authors that are 6 years old as well. And, I have a group, and there are many authors that, their kids are writing books. Their kids are good with poems, poetry. So why not push them that direction? We tend to, growing up, you tend to hear, okay, you need to be a lawyer, you need to be a doctor, period.
Right.
So what happened to the other jobs? Who is going to teach the children? Who is going to write books for us to read? Who is going to
Right.
take out the trash? Who is going to do all these things? All jobs are important.
Yes. Yeah. All jobs are important. I love that. And since and this was published in what year did you publish Call to Purpose?
2020.
2020. So in the heat of the pandemic. Oh, that's amazing. So what was that like for you? I mean, was there a big change when you were doing this?
Absolutely. My testimony with writing, I will
Yeah.
tell anyone, I've said it before, my eldest niece, she's 20 something now, but she writes, she's very good at writing. So if I have to do a letter or anything, I will shoot her a message. Hey, could you type up this letter? Could you write this letter for me? Because writing was not my thing. And I was horrible at writing. I did not pass English in school when I did CXC, but I went back and rewrote it and got it. With that said, I still was not able to professionally sit down and do writing. And it's not something I liked.
Okay.
In 2019, I came on Facebook one day, and one of my friends in Trinidad invited me to watch this particular pastor. And I said, so I was just scrolling through Facebook, minding my business, you know how we do. And he came on, and when I clicked on the link, he called my name. Now, mind you, I never met this guy before, never had any conversations with this pastor, nothing like that. And he called out my name, and he was able to tell me that he saw me writing books. And I didn't, put it aside. I wrote down everything that he told me. And exactly a year later, which was 2020, is when I was looking at one of my daughter's picture, and it's like stuff just started downloading onto me. And that night I remember going to bed, and I felt like a sheet came over my head. And I always have my pen and my book and at the side of my bed. And I laid there and I started writing. I fell asleep right at the end of my bed. The next morning, my son, when he woke up, he woke me up. He was like, Mom, did you write this last night? I looked at it and I say, yeah. So I was able to go back and read this. Now, mind you, I wrote this in less than 2 hours with the wee hours of the morning. Wrote my first book. Now, there's a process with editing and all of that, but that's where my writing journey started. So now I cannot just sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write a book about 2 dogs. With me, it does not work that way. So
Right.
I have to be inspired to write something.
Yes, I understand completely. Wow, what an awesome experience. That's a beautiful experience to start. That's a great start as well. So after that experience you had, how did you learn about the process of writing? What happened next?
I did not have anybody to mentor me.
What happened next? Yeah,
I did not
sorry.
have anybody to mentor me like how I will mentor hundreds and thousands of people in my group now. But there were no one I could really reach out to and say, hey, I know you wrote a book. Could you show me, the ins and outs of it? Even if you did reach out to anybody, most people do not want to share their secrets with you. Most people want to charge you thousands of dollars to publish a book when it does not even cost thousands of dollars to publish a book. They make it so hard. When I reached out to a couple of people, they made it sound like it was something impossible. It was like a big journey to even publish a book. But I started doing my own research. That's
Yeah.
what I do best. I research how to publish. I research what I needed and all the ins and outs of what I needed to publish a book. When I first published the
Yeah.
book, I did not realize editing was something extremely important. So when I first
Yes.
published my book, of course, my first book had some errors and things like that. But later on, with the experience and knowledge that I had, I was able to go back in and make those changes. So that's my publishing journey. Yeah.
All right. And you self-published. How many of them was self-published?
All four of them are
So all of them
self-published.
self-published? All four of them are self-published. Wow, congratulations. So once you get over all of the hurdles of the first one, it just gets easier and easier after that. So do you have fun now that you got over all of those hurdles? Is it a fun thing for you? Is it
I
enjoyable?
I love publishing books. Even my last book when my son, it was actually his idea. All the ideas that I put into my last book, the Corona book, it was his idea sitting down and telling me, and he did not know I started to write what he was telling me. And when I finished, I looked back and I told him, I said, read this, but it was a draft. I said, read this. And when he looked at it, he was like, Mom, this is everything I was telling you about. I said, yeah, I know. I put it into a book for you. So, with that, he assisted me with all the pointers in it, all the ideas, exactly how COVID had affected children, everything that he, mentioned to me. I kept jotting it down until I could have, put it into something that children would really react to. They could really open up and
Related.
understand.
Mhm. That's awesome. That's really beautiful to be able to do that with your son. That is something that nobody can take that away from your family. That is that is in history now. And I want to say congratulations to the both of you. So what has been so let's go back to call to purpose. Now we believe, kingdom persons believe that all persons have a purpose and all persons have talents. But this book in particular, it speaks specifically to using money, to actually create a future for yourself. Tell us a little bit more about call to purpose.
So call to purpose, of course I use my daughter's image, an older version of her. She's 5 now, getting ready to go on 6, but this particular book, she was about 7 in this book. And it was the idea where she was walking one day, in her yard, sweeping, kids play outside with a broom, and she bounced up. She saw something in the dirt, and she dug it out, and it was a talking dollar. Now, this is something where, if we go to teach children about money, the first thing, thank you, baby. The first thing they will do, the first thing they will do is, oh, money, they want to buy candy, or they don't know what to do with money, or, things like that. But if you put it in a way, like I did in this book, where the dollar that she found was actually talking to her, it was now her friend. So now she learned how to value that dollar, how to become friends with that dollar.
Yeah.
That dollar was not controlling her anymore. It was her controlling the dollar now, because they
Right.
were, friends. But in the
Mhm.
story now, the dollar bill taught her how to make money, how to save, how to use things, gifts that she already had, things like artwork, like painting a image, and showed her in steps how to put it out there and sell it, obviously with the help of her brother, with the help of an adult at all times. So I put that specifically in there because we don't want children to, yes, get into activating their giftings and then going out there and selling stuff on their own. Things can happen. So I put it specifically where she asked her brother to go out there and put these images on the fence, and parents, cars started to pull up to see these artwork that she, created. But she used things that she already had at home. So she did not have to go out and spend extra money. She didn't have to go and, all these different things, but she was able to create things, sell things. She was able to budget her money. So there's a rule, I call it a 1, 2, 3, 4 rule. In the book, it will go into details and tell you how much to save, how much to spend, how much to put away, how much to give back, and how much to invest, things like that. So eventually, they became really, really good friends, and she was able to find more money. And in the book, I specifically said, when you know the value of a dollar, when you know to treat money right, and when you know how to manage money, money will find you. Money will continue to come to you, because just like they always say, when you give off an energy in the atmosphere, how they sometimes say these things, it comes back to you. It's the same way. But this particular book also was targeting Christian parents. So it also, that 10% tithes that we would give into the church, many people may not believe it. It works for me. It has worked for me ever since, and I can testify about giving my 10% tithes to the church. So in the book, it tells you to give back that 10%, but with children, they could give it to the church, they could, spend it somewhere, in the sense that you're giving back to the community. So it's things that they have. So basically, that's it.
Right. So that is really wonderful. And again, as you said, there is a universal law of sowing and reaping. And we believe that in the kingdom, that whatever you sow, if you sow, whatever you sow, you will get a return from that. And the scripture is not, it's not ambiguous where money is concerned. It does say that money answered unto all things. It does say that, as you intimated, that you said earlier, that money should not have us, but we should have control of the money. We should be able to to control the money rather than the other way around. And that is what kingdom speaks about: stewardship, proper stewardship of your resources, however little or however great. And whatever you do with the little, God is always pleased to bless us with more of it. So I think that is a really valuable, valuable lesson that children need to know from very early on. And I think parents, it would be nice if parents were able to set that example so that they could see it, they could observe it actually happening and working in their lives, so that they will, they become believers as well of the sowing and the reaping. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So tell us, Dr. Nikki, what has been the response like to Call to Purpose?
As you mentioned, adults, I have to say there are many adults that pick up my book and always tell me, I bought it for my daughter, or I bought it for my son, or for my niece, but I need a copy for myself. Because they tell, adults have a way where not everybody know how to manage money. Not everybody. And I've learned that over here. Your bills is more than the amount of money that you make. So what happens when your bills is more than the amount of money that you make? What you do, you tap into that gift that you have. There's something that you could do. There's cooking that you could do. There's buying, selling things that you could do. There's writing a book. There's publishing a book and marketing it. There's all kind of things that adult can do, not just go out and work that 9-to-5 job, but also have something on the side, turn that hobby into a business. So the response so far, if you go on my Amazon, you will see all the reviews and things like that. Amazing reviews. I have people that groups like YMCA that uses this book to teach the children about budgeting money, about entrepreneurship, all these different things. There's Boy Scout, Girl Scout that started to use my books. There's many different places in Maryland, groups where they, have kids and in the daycare, in the centers and things like that, started to, find out about my book and, by referral, and started to really tap into the book and what the book entails.
Oh, that is incredible, Dr. Nikki. That's awesome success. Do you think that you would have had that level of success if you had launched this book here? Do you think it would have been the same?
I cannot say. It depends on the feedback because here, I'm established here. So in Trinidad, I will have to find bookstores or get connected with people in Trinidad that, really would want to hear about it. So but I have to say by opportunities like this, where you all would invite authors and things like that, they would know and understand and listen now about the book. So maybe their minds could change. Maybe things can happen. Possibilities there.
Yes, there's many possibilities in the kingdom. The sky is not the limit. It's further than that. And I just want to say congratulations on your success. That's really beautiful. And thank you, for such a very important resource, So what else has this book, what other avenues has this book opened up for you since its publishing?
I like to mentor kids into, like I said before, like you said before, let me put it this way. You said everybody have a purpose, and that involves children. So we as parents like to say, as I mentioned before, I want my child to become a doctor. I want my child to become a lawyer. Like that's the only two jobs there are. But I like where I could speak to young people and say, hey, what do you like to do? What are the things? And if they say, well, I don't know, I love that. I love the part where they say, I don't know, because that's where I come in. I will come in and say, well, what do you like to do? You like to write, you like to color, you like to draw, you like to, sell stuff, you like to create things. So that's where I come in and I see a light. There's joy when I can, look at kids and be able to help them find that purpose that they have.
That is so beautiful. And yes, as we both said, they all have a purpose, and it's so important that parents, if they don't know, to get help, to seek help, because sometimes children might be displaying certain behaviors, and parents just, I can't get this child. Why they doing that? But they just might not have the discernment to figure out that child is displaying a gift that could make that child and your family a millionaire or billionaire in time to come. And I love what you said about mentorship. Mentorship is so critical. Oh my gosh. I mean, I can't say it enough. Having someone to mentor you as a parent, as a teacher, in whatever area you're in, I think that can be the difference between you making thousands to you making millions. And that's what I believe, because a mentor is someone who's been there. They've gone through the mill. They've already made the mistakes, and they know how to be able to advise you the steps to take to success. So tell us a little bit more about this mentorship that you said you say you offer. Is there a website? How do people, if people want to get mentored, those listening here on Growth Radio, how do they get involved?
So on Facebook, I can be reached as Nikki Maharaj, Nikki, last name Maraj. and you could always send me inbox, a message, and say, hey, I've seen your interview. I would love to become, in this mentorship, get the, and it's free. I have to tell you all that. It is free. It is my way of giving back. To see these kids and them come out of some situations. That's just my gift to humanity. But that's how they can reach me. They could also reach me on WhatsApp, 301-655-4863. That's my WhatsApp information as well. You could reach out to me there.
And okay, so that's two ways that we can reach Dr. Nikki if you want your child to be mentored. She is on Facebook as Nikki Maraj. What we can do after this program, we can put that information on our Facebook page as well for you so that you can reach her. You can send her a Facebook Messenger message. And her telephone number again is 301 655 486. What's the last number?
63.
3. All right. So 301 655 4863. All right. So you can WhatsApp Dr. Nikki on that number 301 655 4863. All right. Get in there. Get in on it. This is someone who's giving back to society. She said it is free. I mean, knowing that she's giving it out of her heart, it's going to be something that is meaningful because she's giving it from her heart and giving it from her experience. So take advantage of it. Don't take advantage of Dr. Nikki, but take advantage of the opportunity to have your children mentored by Dr. Nikki, okay? So do you have a support team, Dr. Nikki? I mean, doing all of this business, school, mentorship, ministry. I mean, how do you do it?
My support team is the Lord.
Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
What else do I need? But to be serious, I do have a group on Facebook where I mentor authors and things like that. Give them tips about marketing, how to publish their book in the right way, different things like that. And I have helped some of them. They help me from time to time. My niece also, who is living in the US now, she helps me with certain things still. And there's some people that, you could reach out to and they're willing to do it for you because when they see the kind of things that, I do, they're willing to, Dr. Nikki, you need help to do anything. And sometimes I don't want to say, yeah, but then I do. So if I really need it.
Yeah, that's nice because, it helps when you have a supportive team, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It is very time consuming. It does take a lot of energy and resources. You are using up your own resources as well. So, I'm really interested in even learning about this royalty African fabrics. And what does the RAB stand for with the African dolls? What does that mean?
So R is for royalty, A is for African, and then B is for baby, and then dolls. So royalty African baby dolls.
Oh,
so in Trinidad, we have a warehouse in Trinidad, home by my parents' house. So I am from on the Maruga Road, which is 355 Indian Walk, Maruga Road. My parents have business already there. They have Lobby's Bar. That's where I grew up. So we have a warehouse there where I store all my African products, and I know you guys gonna say, but she's Indian. But my children is mixed. Some people say that, but my children is mixed. I love to wear African wear. I wear it all the time. Those of who know me. So I went into that because I really like it. And I wanted to change the way when people say, well, okay, Emancipation Day is coming up. Let's get in. That's the only time they used to really wear it. So when I first founded this Royalty African, it was something on my heart where I wanted to change things. I wanted when people go out on special occasions, they can make an outfit other than looking like an African outfit. The cloth is already the African print. So then you can make different, yeah, you could mix it up and make different things to go to special occasions, different occasions. I had clients who went to, their kids went to prom in my African fabrics, weddings, all different things. So, but the royalty dolls now, growing up, when you see dolls in the store, you don't see cultural dolls. And in that way, what I'm getting at is you don't see dolls that represent our children.
Look like us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You always see, you know, very light-skinned Caucasian looking dolls, and we settle for that. We settle to have our kids. Nothing is wrong with it.
Right?
Growing up. So we settle with that. Nothing is wrong with it. You know, everybody grew up in that. But the world has been changed, and it is changing still. And representation does matter. So when I go to the store, I want to be able to see something that my daughter or my son could relate to. So we've brought in some dolls, same type of hair, like my kids, look mixed, you know, just different color, brown, light brown, dark skin, you know, different colors where you could relate to. And that's what we did.
I think that is very important, as you said, representation, you know, and, you know, reading a lot of different person's stories. One of the themes, the common themes, as people said, I didn't have a representative. I didn't see that when I was growing up. You know, I didn't see Black authors when it wasn't read to me. You know, they weren't introduced to it. And while, you know, we grew up, I mean, I grew up in a time when, yes, there were a lot of Caucasian dolls. And I remember one doll that I ever got, I think my mom gave me a Hawaiian doll. And I love that doll. It was not a white doll. I love that doll. But it was short-lived because some child see me with the doll and the child wanted the doll more than me. And my mother tell me, give the child the doll, I go buy back one pair. But it never happened. So I still grieving, right? Yeah, not mommy. I still grieving, but it's so true that our children need to see themselves so that they have an understanding that they too can be something greater. It can't always be the negative that's attached to people of color. I mean, that's diabolical, you know, but as you said, times are changing. Times are changing. And, you know, the tide is changing. People are recognizing the market and they are shifting to suit. So what advice would you give someone who wants to remain an author or an entrepreneur who wants to remain relevant in a change? Dr. Nikki?
Yes, I think you went on mute for a second.
Dr. Nikki?
Didn't hear.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, you did not hear the question. Well, the question was, how would you advise authors and entrepreneurs to remain relevant in a fast changing environment that we're living in today?
So before I answer that, from our last point with the African, you guys could find it on Facebook. We do have Facebook pages, Royalty African Fabrics, and you guys can find us there if you need that. As far as the advice, I will tell people, just as I said, times is changes, the market is changing as well. So you have to be always, you know, leveling up, I should say. If you wrote one book, try and write another one. If you have one book, get something that you could package it together as a bundle. Things to motivate yourself and just pursue that. Behind me, I'm going to show you really quick. We talk about kids, you know, things kids could do. My daughter actually did this display for me. And if you notice, there's owls
That's beautiful.
that goes with my owl book. And to
Yeah.
the bottom, there's those puppet toys and stuff. Kids like toys, kids love games. So we want to try to get them away from games and more into writing and reading and things like that. So you put things in place where children or people will be motivated themselves, not just to be stagnant, just not to just write one book or to open a business and that's it. What
Mhm.
will make me want to come and support you? What do you have new that will make me come and support you versus going to support somebody else? So
Okay.
there's something in your business as an entrepreneur that will make you motivated to serve people,
Mm.
to get to have something where you could say, well, okay, what is the demand? What are they demanding? What is the consumer demanding now? Can I produce
Right.
something similar, but to go with my business that will put me above the others, that will make me stand out? So I don't know if that answers your question there.
Yeah, that's a lot of food for thought. That's a lot of information, I think. So marketing is very important, is what I'm hearing. Yeah. And should authors, should entrepreneurs have a specific budget um, for marketing, or they just try to swing it themselves?
Yeah,
What do you suggest?
yeah, I don't usually have a budget per se, but I always try to add something to my books, whether
Mhm.
it is, activities for daycare, whether it is for kids where,
Right.
they can do, and I'm into crafting, so I craft a lot of stuff. If you don't craft,
Okay.
that's fine. I'm sure you could buy something wholesale, put it together. Um,
Right.
like I have some little plush toys there. It
Yeah.
depends
Could
on,
you bring one of them to show us, Costa, Dr. Nikki?
so this one is purple. Let me see. This one is pink, yellow, sorry. So the reason
Right.
I brought the different colors is because depending on where I'm marketing and, certain times, I will pair it off.
Oh,
So,
that's so sweet. Right. I
so this
get
is
it.
yellow and then I
Right.
can pair it off. So in
Oh,
other
so I
words,
see that.
you can get bundles where if it's for somebody's birthday, somebody's baby shower, somebody's, like a child getting a child christening, be something like this, you could, you know, you have options. Yeah.
Wow, that really is a beautiful idea. And I love those toys. I mean, and it even have adults that still like the little stuffed toys as well. I love that idea. And so you could even have all of your books with each of the the elephants as a package, or one with the elephant as a package. Oh my gosh, the
Because
options are just amazing.
yeah, options. So one of the thing I'm passionate about too is getting kids off of devices for a long time. When we go
Right.
to the restaurant or certain places and a child,
Yeah.
uh, here, we hand them the
Right.
cell phone, we hand them the tablet, they're walking with a tablet. We
Yes.
in church, or we go someplace. Hmm. So I'm changing things. So if you notice here, it brought back those games that we used to play a long time and have fun with, board games. This one
Yeah.
goes with my last book. This is actually like a souvenir for Corona. So that's the thing.
Right.
If you're an entrepreneur, you going into business, what will make me spend my money by you versus going to the person next door? So you have to be up to date with things. Be creative, step out of your comfort zone.
Wow. And I mean, that is a beautiful idea. And those toys are really gorgeous as well, you know. And there's a place that you can, I don't know if there's a place that does that in Trinidad and Tobago. I haven't done any research, but there's a place that you can go to get those things
So
custom designs to your
you could,
desire. I mean, how
I
does
think
one
you
do
could,
that?
I think some places will, if you probably Google wholesale and things like that, maybe China or someplace, but I craft, so a lot of stuff like the owls and things like that, I make them myself.
You
And
made those things in the back there?
yeah, these. Yep.
Lisa. Wow.
And
So the owls you mean,
mhm.
and the corona, was it a purse? What is it?
So the Corona is for kids who give kids stimulate, like if you're autistic, if you have a special need, what it does is it's
Oh,
really a game. I press one, you press one, you shake a dice. Sometimes they can play like that, but it gives kids that are special needs, when they keep popping this right here, it does something to them mentally. And it's, so
oh,
it's created for that. But there was
wow.
one company that was selling the puppets, but they had just the circle. And
Right.
I asked them, I reached out to them and I asked them, hey, could you put those little spikes, some little spikes on there for me? I don't mind
Yeah.
paying a different fee, for it. And they were willing to do it. So you will see
Yes.
people that my daughter, you will see people that literally that have that willing to do it for you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And I love the idea. And that is all stemming from each of your books. These go part and parcel, hand in hand with each of your books. So you're an author entrepreneur. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that's amazing. I think I have to applaud you for that, you and your family, because it's a family affair. You said your daughter is getting in on it and she's only 5, going on 6. I think is really beautiful. And what's even more beautiful, Dr. Nikki, is that she's seeing you being a successful female Black entrepreneur, and so I mean, that can only have positive effects on her psyche.
Right.
There's nobody that can tell her now that you can't do it.
Can do it.
You know, that's forget about it. Forget about it, right? There's no brainwashing. Nobody could brainwash your daughter to say that, she is something that she's not. She is a success already, because she's already a successful businesswoman, right? So that I think that is awesome. And it's not something that is just for Dr. Nikki, is it? Dr. Nikki, is this only for you? It's only for your household?
No, no, absolutely not.
It's not, and again, I want to really encourage Growth Radio listeners, those of you who are parents and you have children, to take advantage of the mentorship program that Dr. Nikki is offering, the mentoring that she does for children. And Dr. Nikki, could you please give us those details again, how we can reach you for those things? Could you give us again?
So in about 2 weeks, I will have a website up and running as well, where you could go on there. It will be under Kids Cultural Books and Gifts. That is my company, Kids Cultural Books and Gifts, specifically for my books and things like that. One, you could reach me there. You could reach me by telephone, WhatsApp if you're out of the country, 301-655-4863. My email is my first name, Nakeisha, Nakeisha25@yahoo.com, or you could just send me a inbox on my Facebook, which is Nikki Maharaj.
All right, awesome. And I'm hoping and I'm expecting that Growth Radio listeners at home and abroad, whoever is listening to this program, will take advantage of that information. I think for the better, it is important that we invest in the next generation. There are things that we as adults we want to see now. I'm sorry about that. Living in the tropics, we have some coconut trees in the background. So there are things that we as adults we want to see happening now. It's not going to happen now. We have to invest. Things should have been put in place long before so that what we want to see happening now does. Right. So Dr. Nikki, is there anyone you want to shout out in your
So I have to say a shout out to my parents back home in Trinidad. If you're listening, all my Moruga peeps, all my Maryland peeps, all my FOLM family, and all my authors family, of course. I cannot forget you all. So that's it.
That's great. So do you said you mentor authors as well? Is it only a specific genre that you mentor, only children's book authors or any author?
No, it could be any author because the only difference between a children's book and a regular, book is that children's book require illustrations. So that's mainly the only difference, but the process itself is similar. The formatting, the getting the ISBN, talking about the barcode, pretty much is the same. And I do have workshops, free workshops that from time to time on a monthly basis. I have not had one for the year yet because I've been very productive this year.
Very
So
good.
I am balancing my time a little more. But I'm going to
Yes.
schedule when I'm going to have that free workshop for those that are aspiring to become, um, authors, whether it's a child, whether it's an adult, whatever genre, you know.
Right, great. So what's next? Could we get a sneak peek of any other book that's coming up, number 5?
So number 5, I'm working
Exclusive
on.
on Earth Radio.
So basically, I have 11 that I've wrote so far within the time frame. And my other 2 books that I'm working on, one right now I'm working on. So the thing is, I target certain audience. If you notice, my books is not the same. It targets different people. So I have one that targets some younger kids right now where preschool and things like that are learning about shapes, numbers, and things like that. So it's called Cha-Cha-Cha, the dancing shapes. So that I am working on currently. And I have another one that I'm working on right after. It's called Dear Colored Girl. And it was because it's basically telling you that be okay, be confident in who you are. The way you look, whether straight like mine, whether your nose broad, whether your nose, your forehead probably big or small, it don't matter. Be confident in who you are. That's the main thing. So that particular book was dedicated to my niece because growing up, she's mixed, she's a Callaloo, she's mixed with Spanish, Indian, Creole, the works. So she never really felt like she fit in. So I wanted to write that book and dedicate that book particular for her.
Yeah. Okay, that's very sweet. And if really, honestly, if a lot of our families were to go back into our family history, you go see a lot of different things that might surprise us, right? So it's beautiful. And I love that about Trinidad and Tobago. It's beautiful. And again, I want to say that Trinidad and Tobago, Trinbagonians, wherever you are. I mean, I love when we just expand and we display the beauty and the intelligence that is from Trinidad and Tobago. And I think you did a very good job, Dr. Nikki, and we want to applaud you at Growth Radio for all of your successes. God has really been good to you, as He is always to all of us. And I just want to wish you the very best in moving forward. And I pray that God continue to expand your borders even more than He's expanded it
Thank
right
you.
now. So we just want to give you a growth radio blessing. And we want to say thank you for coming on, and for all of those who have been listening wherever you are all around the world. All right. And there are children around in my area as well. And it will be great to introduce them to some of your content, because it's really important that we plant those seeds of financial literacy in our children. Again, let's see the book again, Call to Purpose. Let's see that book again before we go.
He's gonna play it, I think. But this
Do
is
you
my
have? Okay, right. That's beautiful. It's Call to Purpose. So if you want a copy of Dr. Nikki's book, Dr. Nikki, could you tell us where we can go to get a copy of that book?
you can get it on Amazon. It's available on Amazon, or the information that I gave you, you could reach out and I can get a signed copy for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yes, we want signed copies, and yes, let's support local. Let's continue to support local, and those of you, especially those from Trinidad and Tobago, let's support our own. And I would endorse Call to Purpose for your children and the mentorship program that Dr. Nikki has introduced to us. So thank you again, Dr. Nikki, for being with us, for being with Growth Radio this evening. And don't be a stranger. Oh, and next week, please God, Dr. Nikki is back. And Growth Radio listeners are going to have an opportunity to win a signed copy from Dr. Nikki. So we want you back. We want you to come back and be part of this program again, Interview with the Authors, next week, please God. Same time, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. AST. Do invite a friend, call somebody, let them listen in, and let them call in so that they can get a chance to win a copy of Dr. Nikki's book, Call to Purpose. All right. So as we go, we just want to show a short video of Dr. Nikki's book so that you can see a little bit of the pictures, you get excited, show your children, so that they see and they know what is inside this book, Call to Purpose. So thank you again, Growth Radio listeners, for listening in. This has been Interview with the Authors. I am your host, Charisse Janine Broome, and I have been interviewing Dr. Nakeisha Maharaj. She is the author of Call to Purpose, the book that we highlighted this evening. And we want to see you back next week, please God. So until then, God bless you, everybody. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Growth Radio is growing with a new program, Interview with the Authors. Local authors, regional authors, international authors, new authors, and well-seasoned authors too. Join us every Thursday evening from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. AST. We're interviewing authors. And who knows, next time we'll be interviewing you. Interview with the Authors every Thursday evening, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on growthradiopt.com.
Growth Radio. Growth Radio. Growth Radio. Growth Radio.
This is a message to the saints. The table has been set, so take your place. There is no condemnation. There is only grace.
Growth Radio, Gospel Radio. Our way to heaven. one king and one kingdom making people feel like family.